Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sports Talk with me, Ricardo. What's going on, man? I hope you're having a blessed day. It's a beautiful day, man. Beautiful day out. Take some time on your lunch break. Go sit outside in the sun, man. We need the sun. The sun's very important, man. It keep you. It gets your body right. You need that. You need that energy, man. Anyway, man, things are not looking good for Shannon Sharpe at all right now. I know that you know what's going on. If you haven't heard about it, there's a 21 years old, 21-year-old young woman who alleged that Shannon Sharpe, they had a relationship from the text messages back and forth from both of them. They have a relationship, whether it's a sexual relationship, whatever, it's a relationship. They have a relationship. They know each other. She alleged she's suing him for sexual assault. I'll say that for the kids that are watching. I'll keep it that, but the adult in the room, you know what's going on. But, it's a tough situation. ESPN, ESPN and Disney, the Disney executive, they asked Shannon Sharpe, did he actually do it? Did he sexually assaulted her? And he told them no. That was before. They approached him, say, hey, as they investigate, they're looking at the landscape. They approached Shannon Sharpe, not ESPN, the Disney executives. Disney owned ESPN, ABC, a lot of stuff, right? They approached Shannon Sharpe and said, look, it is best at this point if you step down, right? If you step down at this point, whatever, it's best for you to do that. Step down, deal with your legal case, right? Because they know when it rains, it pours. So they were looking at from their lawyers and are there going to be more women coming forward or whatever? They didn't want to deal with all that stuff. Disney don't want to deal with that. Anything with sexual assault scandals, they try to stay away from it. Even though I'm not gonna go there, but anyway, But they told him it's best for you to step down. If you step down and you clear of all wrongdoing, you have an opportunity to come back with us. But if we fire you, it doesn't look good for you. Which he's a businessman himself. He understands how severe it is. So he stepped down from ESPN to handle all his affairs. Now let me say this quickly, right? Stephen A. Smith, he's a clown. Stephen A. Smith always been a clown. He will forever be a clown. Anything that the media can't or won't say about black people on television, they use Stephen A. Smith to do it. They use him to do it. He's a coon. He's a clown. They use him to do it to bash other black people, black men, whatever. So if you looking at his take, besides Michael Jordan, there's no one. Stephen A. Smith don't bash. Michael Jordan is the only one that he doesn't bash because Jordan sent him sneakers. Jordan sent his nephew's sneakers, his family clothing, whatever. He hang out with Jordan. He's been there, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, they use him to do that. Now here's the kicker. When Jay-Z was alleged for sexually assault that woman, it was a situation with Tony Busby, which is the same thing. Jay-Z said, "Hey, no, I didn't. Flat out, I didn't do that." Jay-Z came out, "Hey, I didn't do that." Jay-Z even told them, "Hey, if I did that, this should be a criminal case. You should file charges." And it turned out it wasn't. Tony Busby ended up dropping the charges because he didn't have anything. There was more propped up it was more of a smear campaign for Jay-Z, whatever. So he did that. So Jay-Z, from the beginning, put out his, he was pouring out his innocence from the beginning. Hey, I'm not part of this. So he didn't wait. So he was out there. Hey, I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna do this, whatever, right? I say this to say, Stephen A. Smith, from the beginning, when the alleged lawsuit came out against Jay-Z, Stephen A. Smith was within hours, not on his ESPN show, but his other stuff on YouTube, on his other podcast, went on his podcast and defended Jay-Z. Said, nah, I defend Jay-Z. He didn't do this. That's my friend. He did not do this. He would not do this. Before all the stuff came out. The moment the lawsuit, the allegation was made, within hours, Stephen A. Smith went on his platform, right, to express how he felt about Jay-Z, to paint the woman as a liar looking for cash, whatever. He put that out from the beginning. That's my friend. I stand by him. He didn't do this. Until later on, Jay-Z ended up filing a lawsuit, whatever. Hey, I didn't do this, whatever. And then Tony Busby ended up dropping the case because they didn't have anything, right? And some people say, hey, maybe he did that. Something. Maybe that they settle and the woman paid. I don't know, right? I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate that, but still, I'm just gonna go strictly from Stephen A. Smith's standpoint, coming out on the defense of his so-called friend, right? Him and Shannon Sharpe are friends. The moment the allegation was made against Shannon Sharpe, hours before the allegation was made, Stephen A. Smith went on his platform again. Many people would expect, they were expecting him to say the same thing he said regarding Jay-Z. No, he didn't. He said, well, I was not in the room with Shannon Sharpe when Shannon Sharpe. I don't know about this. I was not in the room. You were not in the room with Jay-Z. You know what I mean? So this is your colleague, this is your friend, whom you recruited to come on your show to give you rating. At the time when Shannon Sharpe was leaving First Take, was leaving Fox FS1, Fox Sports, and told them, hey, I didn't want to be on your network, I don't want to, whatever. He had an opportunity to go anywhere, FanDuel, all the stuff. All this network wanted him, and as you can see, he was about to get $100 million deal where he was signed Bubba and all those people, right, to put on his own network, own platform. His show's doing well, and Stephen A. Smith said, hey, no, come on my show, because he wanted to compete. He saw Fox Sports FS1 lost a huge Undisputed lost, Undisputed had to be canceled because they couldn't keep up when Shannon Sharpe left, because Shannon Sharpe was the one carrying the show, not Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless thought that he was, but it's not him. So there was a big gap. So Shannon Sharpe was able to capitalize on that and say, hey, if he come in, this guy bring in 1 million viewer per episode. Oh hell yeah, I'm gonna tap on that. But the moment it did not benefit Stephen A. Smith, who was a clown, he jumped ship. He's like, no, I'm jumping ship. Like I said, when the woman with the alleged sexual assault against Jay-Z, hours before Jay-Z even responded, Stephen A. Smith went on his platform, said Jay-Z did not do this. I don't believe it. This is a shakedown. don't believe the hype, this and that, whatever, right? Hours after Shannon Sharpe alleged allegation, right? He said, because none of us were in the room, he said, I was not in the room. I don't know about this. You were not in the room for Shannon Sharpe. You weren't in the room with Jay-Z. So you don't know what took place. But you will quickly run in to defend Jay-Z because Jay-Z is a bigger payday for you. An interview for him from Jay-Z is a, like I said, you always the same thing with Michael Jordan and stuff like that. You're gonna bend over to do whatever they want. So it's easy for you to do that. But hey, anyway, so what I wanted to say, man, forget all that. Right? You can make your own conclusion, right? But the whole thing with Stephen A. Not Stephen A. Smith, with Shannon Sharpe, you offered this woman $10 million to settle, but you're innocent, allegedly. But why? If you're innocent, why do you offer $10 million settlement to someone to go away? Two things. You know that you work for ESPN, who owned by Disney, and in any conversation, anything, it's gonna put you in a negative light. You know that there are multiple other women that you're dealing with, young women that you're dealing with, you've done these things with, consensual or not. You feel like, hey, if this come out, it's gonna be a domino effect, because we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson, right? I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson, and allegedly that's the McNair family, from the owner, the son, allegedly, the son who owned the Texan, because he wanted out. He said, oh yeah. Allegedly hire private investigators to make sure all these women came forward. Allegedly, he funded all that stuff for these women to come forward, paid them, allegedly. So, and that's what it is. But multiple women came out, and he had to pay up. He suffered a lot for that, right? Consensual or not, you play someone, they're gonna play you back. So the whole thing with Shannon Sharpe, you offered her $10 million to settle, to stay quiet, because you didn't want the news, you didn't want the publicity, you didn't want all that stuff, or you did it. Either you did it, and it's all alleged, by the way. Like I said, I was not in the room. You either did it, or you wanted to pay just to keep it quiet. You didn't want the public to know what you into. You didn't want the public, because a lot of people thought that Shannon Sharpe was gay anyway. And he did everything to the being feminine, the way he did everything to, and a lot of people don't like the fact that he called her club Shay Shay. They like Shay Shay, what kind of, but hey, there's a lot of stuff that they didn't want to, he didn't want to come out, to hear the public hearing that, this girl tying you up, putting stuff in your manhood from the back. You know what I mean? So it's tough. When what kind of man? If you're not, it's like being in jail. These guys who are in jail, those booty bandit, whatever, to say, well, you're not that. Start with a G. I'm not gonna even say it. If you're not homosexual, why are you dealing with that type of behavior? Why are you watching another man to turn you on? Why are you even going that route? You know what I mean? So those guys, and there's a lot of guys who say they're not, they are. There are a lot of guys who go to jail, who love going to jail, because this is where they can be free to do, to be a booty bandit, because out on the street, it's hard for them. But in jail, they're able to take it. You know what I mean? They're able to take it, watching other men. It's ridiculous. You can't tell me you're not homosexual if and you engaging in those activities, right? Anytime you engage in any of those activities, watching another man, this is, hey, that's out of hand. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so Shannon Sharpe didn't want the public to know that what he likes, his kinks, whatever. He didn't like to knowing that he liked that stuff. When people say, he was homosexual, so he was trying to hide that he's not. But then maybe hearing that stuff, this is what he likes, this is whatever he doing, maybe he didn't want that. He wanted to silence her and pay her to stay quiet, or you pay her because you actually did it. So it's a two-part. But here's another thing, right? Here's another thing. If there's a 19, 20-year-old female, and I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine. I said, how many 19, 20, 21-year-old female that's selling part of their body on the internet? Right? 19, 20-year-old females selling part of their body on the internet for a couple dollars. Right? You offer, even, it doesn't have to be the age, I'm just saying, but let's just say that a woman selling their body parts on social media, on the internet, on Cash App, whatever it is, whatever, I don't know. You know what I mean? Selling their bodies on there, doing all this, sexual act for men. You go to the strip club, you could pay a couple dollars, they'll do whatever. And if you look at the conversation, the girl told him it's $25,000 per cheeks. So she's willing to do whatever you want for 50 bands, right? For 50 grand. You have 50K, and there's a lot of videos. There's a video when you talk about, you were talking about, Chad Johnson, ultra-sexual, when he said, hey, Chad Johnson tell him, even more, he told him, find a woman your age to settle down. Chad Johnson, he said, no, he told Chad Johnson, I don't date my age, I date my wage. So he's willing to date the young girls that he can buy, he can manipulate. When you have money, there's a lot of access, there's a lot of things, whatever. It is disgusting. You know what I mean? So a lot of men don't want to partake on and that, because we have daughters and we have morals, we have wives, we have sisters, nieces and nephews, nieces and stuff like that, aunts, cousins. We have morals. We don't engage in that type of activity, right? So it's a lot different. But when you look at it, Shannon said, he doesn't date his age, he date his wage to be able to buy somebody. Now, here's where it is. Here's where the young woman, alleged sexual assault, right? That's an R word. I'm not gonna say it because I know I have kids watching these shows. So you decide to pay to offer $10 million. Is it because, one, you don't want the public out there to know what this girl's done to you from sexually, from your manhood and from the back? We're not gonna go there. Or you did it. Now, the point I was trying to make is a woman who's selling herself for a couple dollars, that's willing to let you do whatever you want to her for $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, and you offered her $10 million and she said no. You offered that woman, the same woman you were paying a couple dollars, that told you she would charge you $25,000 per cheeks, which is $50,000 to do whatever you want to her. And you've done that, allegedly. You've done that. Well, I'm not gonna say allegedly because you have done it, because the messages or whatever, you've done it. The recording, you've done it. According to, based on the recording, you've done it, right? Now, it is crazy to hear that. That's why I say it's not looking good for Shannon Sharpe, because you tell this woman, a woman that's willing to do whatever. I want you guys to understand this, right? A woman that's willing to do whatever you want for a couple of dollars, and you offered her $10 million to stay quiet because she accused you of sexual assault, and you offered her $10 million settlement to stay quiet, and she said no. When someone says no to something like that, you did it. You actually did it. So was it? Most people say, well, how can she fear him if she's doing X, Y, and Z? Maybe she did. She's 21. All she's been doing is that. This rich man offer her this and that, but he's been such, allegedly abusing her, and she felt bad. She can't, and she consents to some of the stuff, but not the overall aggression itself. And she's afraid to say no to him because the powerful friend that he has powerful friends. She know what, he probably told her what he's capable of. She probably seen what he's capable of doing, and she doesn't want any part of that, so she's scared. Yes, she's gonna comply. The same way when you look at during slavery, I'm gonna bring this up. The slave master would tell the husband, go get your wife. And he would go get his wife and give to the slave master to go have sexual intercourse. He was, all her, and the guy didn't do anything. And I'm not even gonna. But anyway, so it's a tough situation, man. So, but it's not looking good for Shannon Sharpe. Hey, another thing, man. I'm glad to see that the NFL came down on the Atlanta Falcons and Jeff Ulbrich. The Atlanta Falcons, they fined $250,000 to the Atlanta Falcons, right? And then $100,000 to Jeff Ulbrich. I think that 250. So it's a total of 350. That entire 350 should come from Jeff Ulbrich. If I'm the Atlanta Falcon, I back that money from him. And it's crazy. Now, the son, you just ban yourself in all NFL locker room. Because you wanted to be popular, whatever. You thought it was funny to call multiple kids, young men, and the thing is, you have that access. So these kids, they get the number, from the agent, whatever, get the number to be able to give that number to all the NFL teams, the people, during the draft, the team who's going to call, and you took that opportunity, you share it, and now, doing the call, Shirley Sunday was very excited. Of course, he was live streaming that stuff on Twitch. He was super excited to hear that the Atlanta Falcons, who drafted his father first, was going to draft him as well. He was like, hey, I was waiting for you guys. He wanted to be there, right? And then you tell him, hey, you're gonna wait. Here's the kicker. NFL owners have told all GMs to remove Shirley Sanders from the draft board, which is where I think that Jeff Ulbrich told his son exactly what happened, because the son told him, hey, You're gonna wait a while. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get drafted. You're gonna be here. So how would he know that if the father didn't tell him Shedeur Sanders not gonna get drafted? Because NFL executive, NFL owners have told us to remove him from any draft board. So how would he know that if Jeff Ulbrich didn't tell him? Right? So Jeff Ulbrich, he said, oh, well, he left his device unlocked. Listen, man, we all have devices that are protected, right? Whether it's our tablet, right? Our tablet or our laptop, they are password protected, and they also go on sleep mode, right? They are password protected, and they are on sleep mode. I don't know any IT personnel. I do not know any IT personnel who would not have put those contingency plan on these tablets at all. So the notion that the idea that's floating around from Jeff Ulbrich camp saying the son went on his iPad that was open is a BS. Like the kids say on the street, cap. Stop the cap. Stop lying, man. Your tablet, or the tablet you have is, is password protected. It go on sleep mode. When you done with it, right? You log off, whatever. That's it, sleep mode. And how would your son know that Shedeur was not going to be drafted? Because the NFL owners told team to take him off the board. How would the son know that if you didn't tell him? Because that conversation only happened from the owners to the GM and the coaches. So and all coaches, even Mike Tomlin, you see, he wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders because they needed a quarterback, but he couldn't. Right? The Rooneys, his boss, they told him to not do that. Even though, listen, by the way, we hear about the Rooney rules. The Rooney rules has nothing to do with the Rooney family. Johnny Cochran was the one, who told the NFL. Johnny Cochran was a powerful lawyer, great lawyer. Everybody, whenever Johnny Cochran was on a case, people just settled. They didn't go to court. They settled. Why? You know what I mean? So Johnny Cochran sent a message to the NFL, say, hey, I'm going to sue you because you don't have black coaches. Johnny Cochran was the reason why we have all these black coaches in the NFL. Johnny Cochran is the reason why we have a lot of black quarterbacks in the NFL. Johnny Cochran was that reason. So the NFL did not want to be sued, right? The NFL did not want to be sued, right? They were afraid they were going to be sued by Johnny Cochran, and he had there was so many evidence. So when he did that, he told them, I'm gonna sue you. They said, okay, we're gonna comply. The NFL told teams, go ahead and hire black coaches. You know what I mean? Go ahead and hire black coaches. So and then they did that. So part of the committee, the Rooney family, of course, they wanted to be involved. It was easier to call it the Rooney Rule, to make it look like he was the one pushing to hire black coaches in the NFL. Yeah, he went ahead with Mike Tomlin and all that stuff, but that's it. He jumped the gun, or he jumped to do that, and then they call it the Rooney Rule, which is what the NFL did for him. You know what I mean? So, and that was it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it first, but name it after me, and that's what it is. So it had nothing to do with that. But anyway, but for the son actually messed up. So I think that it should be more. I mean, what he did was really messed up. So it's not a crime, but there should be more punishment. From I said, but like I said before, but if this was a black quarterback, I mean, if it was a black coach, defensive coordinator, it would have been fired. You know what I mean? And that son cost his father some money. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire, so $100,000 is not into him, but it should be more from that. Anyway, man, sports talk. Hey, I people are gonna talk crap because LeBron James, losing. They lost last night, man. They need more help, man. They need a rim protector. Anyway, man, sports talk. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace out.